Hi, welcome to Haven. This is a podcast that's a safe space for curiosity and conversation. I'm your host, Haven, and today I'm curious about pie therapy. Pie therapy. You heard me right on this one. So this is a part of the current relationship series, and this one is a little bit about your relationship with yourself and who you are. And my guest for this episode is my favorite guest ever, my husband, Aaron Weits.
Be our guest.
Be our guest. So you actually have no idea about this topic, really.
Like, is it the pi, like the number?
Mm-mm.
Like 3.1456?
How far are you going to go?
I don't know.
Okay.
All.
Eating pie. So this is actually a class that my sister and mom took where you bake a pie from start to finish and then you talk about it. And it's really interesting because it actually tells you a lot about yourself. It's kind of the concept of the way you do one thing's the way you do everything. So I'm going to take you and I through if we were to bake a pie. Sound good?
Let's preheat the oven.
Okay. What pie, if you were going to make one, would you choose to make? How would you choose what pie you're going to make?
How would I choose what pie to make?
Like, is it a recipe you've done before? No, this is on a whim.
Not pumpkin then. I'm torn.
Okay, tell me.
Either we would make that chocolate mousse pie from that random lady in East Texas, or go all out like crazy, like three options. East Texas chocolate mousse pie lady recipe, or the best classic American like apple pie.
Okay.
Or is it a pie? Is it a tart? Do something like extra fancy, kind of like a French tart kind of thing. Like not even a pie. I wouldn't even do a pie. I would probably, my real answer, I wanted to do the chocolate thing to appease you, but I think that I would probably choose like a raspberry tart or something like that.
So not even a pie.
It's like a pie.
Okay. For the sake of this exercise, you're making a raspberry tart.
Oh.
Okay. And then for me, you touched on it. I would, of course, make the chocolate mousse pie. To me, this is almost more folklore, where in East Texas, where my grandmother's from, there was this very, very small bakery, and this lady made the best chocolate mousse pie in the entire world. And then the lady passed away, and she never gave her recipe to anyone. So I'm trying to recreate what I once tasted in childhood, and I can never find.
But isn't that the most lovely thing about cuisine? It's all tied to memory. Have you seen Ratatouille?
Yes.
We should do a whole episode on Ratatouille.
That's so true, though.
The food critic, he tastes that and it reminds him of his mother's cooking. It's like,
wow.
Or that random old lady in East Texas who made pies and did not share the recipe.
Yeah. You're going into even the details of this exercise. Like,
am I doing the exercise
before
blind?
you even know? Yes.
Whoa.
Yes. I'm going to get to that, what that means at the end. But the next steps, go to the store. How do you get the ingredients? Like, do you have a pre-planned list? Do you know what you're going to get?
I watched the TikTok video a few times.
You watched the TikTok video?
And I just remember, I need some of this, I need some of that. I have that at home. I have this at home. I mostly have most things at home. There's just like one random thing like actual passion fruit or something that I would need. Or fresh raspberries.
See, I'm going to go and I'm going to freeball it. I'm not going to know what I have at home.
Freeball it.
Yes. I'm going to get a vanilla and then open the cupboard and be like, we already have 2 vanillas from the last time I didn't check, and I also bought vanilla. So I'm going to get all the ingredients for sure, but I'm not going to check and do the important step before to see which ones we already had.
What about when it comes to like the sugar and you use salt? Because that's happened.
That's when we get to baking it. We're not quite there yet.
Okay.
We're still gathering ingredients. First, though, are you baking alone or with a friend or someone else or a kids? Who are you baking with?
I might bake with the kids.
Yeah. I'm going to bake with someone, and the best case scenario is they're doing all the work. That's
like
the best
Thanksgiving.
case. Yes.
It is Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Turns out.
Best case scenario is we're making the pie I want to make, and you're doing the work, but we're there for a good time. That's me.
Pie 5, baby.
Pie 5. Okay. When you're baking, how do you start? Like, do you get all the ingredients out?
Preheat the oven.
Do you get everything out? Do you measure as you go? Like, what's your course of action?
Mise en place. Put everything in its place.
Okay.
Like all the little things, measure out how much I need of this, measure out that. Makes the whole process a lot easier because you don't want to be like doing something and then like, oh, I've got to chop an onion.
Mm-hmm.
This is a pie. There's no onion in this pie. But you know what I mean?
Not a savory pie.
No, not even a savory tart. But you got to have those things aligned so that everything can just fall into place.
Okay. I'm actually the same as you on that one.
Really?
Yeah. In the off chance I am forced to actually do the work.
When it's a pie. If it's some other thing, yeah, whatever. But for this exercise, yes.
You say pie, but you mean tart now. Do you clean as you go?
See, okay, where you would love to have someone who's doing all the work, I would love to have someone who's just cleaning up behind me.
So a sous chef.
I can make a tornado of creation. I
actually do like a clean as I go method though, like because I'd rather have everything in the dishwasher by the time the oven is opened and the pie goes in, everything's done. No work on the back end.
Yeah.
Clean as I go.
But you still have some time while the pie's in there.
I'd rather it be done before, personally. Do you follow the recipe exactly?
Yes, but I skip the part where the person tells their whole life story.
On the recipe card or whatever, the recipe website.
On the recipe website. Is this a Post-it card?
You tell me. You choose the pie. Tart.
If this is the recipe I'm following, if I can choose the recipe, I would love to have it either in a book or in a, what is it called? Flashcard.
Yeah. So for me, I do because I'm not a good improv baker at all. I will follow exactly what it tells me to. Kind of. In that, sometimes I can miss details. So as Aaron alluded to earlier, I've been known to accidentally put salt when it's supposed to be sugar. Just kind of going too fast.
Not just once.
How many times?
Probably a baker's dozen times.
That's not. I don't even cook that often. There's no way 13? That's true. Okay. Who are you enjoying the pie with afterwards?
My family and friends.
You share it with people?
Yes, I will not eat the whole.
Do you take the first bite before you share it? I would
even like to present it, you know.
You'd present it before you give it to anyone.
I wouldn't like take a slice and be like, hey guys, want some pie? I'd be like, let's do this together.
That's great. I'm eating it the second it's ready. Oh. And then I'm going to share it with people.
You don't even let it rest on your windowsill?
Technically, no. Definitely not. But sometimes I don't even let it cool down if it's supposed to cool down. Too excited.
Yeah.
But then I do like to share it afterwards.
You do?
I do.
But you have like taken a dollop. Not even using a fork. Or just put your hand in
My hands are clean. Okay, do you want to hear what this exercise means?
Now a quick pause to hear from my sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Efficienade. Efficienade offers fractional virtual assistants whose sole purpose is to help people who are making a difference. Are you bogged down in your email and still managing your own calendar? Delegating those tasks to a high-caliber career assistant can free you up to utilize your time towards the areas of your best and highest use, allowing you to focus on the areas you truly thrive in. Learn more at efficienade.com. That's efficient, AIDE.com. Okay. Back to the episode.
What?
We're going to go back to the top, and it says a ton about our personalities.
Really?
So let's start by you. How did you choose it? You didn't choose a pie. You're too creative. You want to deviate from the norm. You want to be unique. And then the first part was thoughtful about me of like, oh, I would like that. But then your true nature is, you tell me to bake a pie, I'm making a tart. That's so you.
Wow. That's very insightful.
Yeah. And then mine, you kind of even alluded to it of like, oh, I have this amazing memory I want to recreate. It felt so good.
Yeah.
And it tastes so good. And I know it's going to be a slam dunk. Even if it's not as good as the East Texas lady, I love a good chocolate mousse. It's going to taste great. I don't want to gamble on a boysenberry crumble and not like it. If I'm going to do the work, I want a slam dunk.
Yes.
Which is very my personality.
Wow.
Yep. Okay, the next one is going to the store and getting the ingredients. Again, very me, where it's like, don't slow me down. I'm not going to look and see what I already have. You already know because you're there all the time in the kitchen and you have such a fine-tuned eye for everything that's accounted for in your life.
Inventory, ingredient list. Yeah, like
People would be surprised to know that you're actually extremely structured and organized.
Surprised.
Yeah. I mean, I know this is your wife, but like you being so creative, the way
Yeah.
that you organize things, everything has a place and you know where everything is.
Well, even like great paintings, there's still a frame, there's still a canvas. It's not just in the air or in water.
Totally.
This is very insightful. I'm kind of blown away.
And even, are you doing this with someone? For me, I love doing things with friends. And I also want to delegate. I don't want to do work I don't want to do. I want to eat the food I want to eat. I want to enjoy the spoils of it. And I want to have a good time. And if someone else wants to do the work, all the better. You find pride in your work.
I like having an apprentice.
Yeah, you find enjoyment. And not only that, you want a sous chef that you can teach hard work.
Wow.
I know. Isn't it crazy how it actually is pie therapy?
Pie therapy.
Pie therapy. Okay. And then when you're baking, how do you start? You get inventory of everything.
I get, lay of the land, kind of, what are we working with here? How's this all going to come together? The bird's eye kind of thing. And ducks in a row. A lot of duck analogies.
A lot of ducks in this one. Mine is, I want to be efficient, which is, it's most efficient to, when I'm getting all the ingredients out, measure everything. And it's also clean to put it away. And then I have more counter space.
You also, that's a good insight into you too. You always have like an exit strategy. Yeah. Not like to get out of things, but what I mean by that is when the job is done, you're thinking past when the job is done. You're thinking about what happens afterward. What's the expectation? What's the repercussions? What's the impact?
Yep.
And how to jump onto the next thing.
Totally. Which kind of calls into even the clean as you go, where to me, it's like just particular and kind of controlling, where it's like when I'm done, I don't want to have wasted time. Like while this mixer is going, I'm going to clean up and not just stand here and watch this mixer going.
Yeah.
I want it to be done on the back end. Do you follow the recipe exactly? For me, I do, because it's not an area of my expertise. Baking a pie isn't. If it was something else and I had more confidence, I would be happy to add my own flair. But something I'm not good at, I'm just going to follow who's done it before me until I learn enough. So I won't deviate from the plan. But sometimes if I move too fast, I will accidentally mess up the plan. And then you following a recipe.
I think I'm torn, because really in real life, baking is not, you can't really improvise that. You can with certain things, but maybe I think about it this way. I would understand how to make a crust, how to make the filling, how to do the whatever other components of the pie, the toppings, all that stuff. And then understanding each category, maybe then be able to play with the form in that way, changing it up. Getting the structure, following the recipe, but also like, oh, how could I build on this?
And then even what you had mentioned, though, is like the recipe you were founded on TikTok. Like you're so...
Give it to me in 60 seconds.
Yeah. But not only that, you're so cutting edge where you're like, what's the next thing? What's the most topical? You use that more than Google because it gets you access to information.
Also, I think what is helpful with it for me is the visual side. Like I love those. Some of my favorite chefs are like the ones on the Instagram and TikTok, the ones on Instagram and TikTok, because they are showing you kind of how to do it. I can model after seeing what they do, like, yo, that's really how fine I need to chop it. Or that's how I need to do this, prepare that. It's like I'm the sous chef in that situation, observing, learning.
Totally. And then even who do you share it with? You want to present. You're proud of your work. It's an aesthetic creation. It's not just going to taste good. It's going to look beautiful, and you're going to
feel good.
You're going to pride yourself in the excellence of what you present.
Thank you for this, Haven. Pie therapy.
You're very welcome. Where me, I'm like, let her rip. I want to eat it.
You won't even wait.
I don't care what it looks like.
I'll be over there like, save me a piece.
And then, but also, it's kind of like with any sweets, I'll take enough until I'm enjoying it. Then I'll give it away. Like once I'm done with it.
Or the reality is sometimes Haven will make cookies, and they're lovely cookies. Sometimes she'll make a lot of cookies, and she'll eat maybe like 2 or 3. And then I'll have one. And then the next day I'm I wake up and I look in the trash and all of the cookies are in the trash.
If I don't
They're
have
gone. I love this. This is so great. Something sweet. Gone.
If I don't have anyone to give them to, I'm too disciplined where I don't want them around. I've eaten my fill of cookies and I'm done. Yeah. And our closest neighbors here are vegan. I can't give them extras like I used to give other neighbors. So that one's more social. Okay, so overall though, the end game, like a highlight, is pie of my choosing with a friend, delegate the work, clean as I go strategy, enjoy it immediately, and give the rest away. Yours
is this a pie? What is a pie? You do mine.
No, I like that. Keep going. So, is this a pie? What is a pie?
Is this a pie? Does it have to be a pie?
Mm-hmm.
What is a pie? And then I like doing it with someone I can teach or bring along with me or learn from myself. Collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
The intention, the structure, the preparation to see the whole big picture, to imagine in that space is really big. And then I think that presenting thing was very insightful too.
Mm-hmm.
Of I want to share this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not just for me. Like
mm-hmm.
I like the process. And then
there's a couple different ways to even like look at that exercise, which is interesting. One is it tells you about yourself, and it's a good question to kind of like explore with someone close to you and have them take you through their steps before you even go back and like look into it. Don't look at it like one question at a time. But it's an interesting insight of there's more than one way to do something. Or like just because you make a pie the same way or non-pie in Aaron's case, like there's different ways to try. Like what if you did try a new recipe? What if you did it solo versus someone being there? Or what if you brought in a friend? Like what if you got your recipe from a different avenue than you typically did? Like it's also kind of fun to just switch up the game and try something new just because keeps your brain fresh. And
to keep your brain fresh like that, like just doing something different is so important to try, to even like break how your mind works. Like I saw someone talking about how, you know, try brushing your teeth with the other hand, and I'm trying it and my teeth aren't getting that clean. But no, I'm just kidding. But it does. There's things like that can rewire your brain, or even being aware of those dynamics is really cool.
Yeah. And even seeing in yourself of like, am I doing the same recipe every time?
Mm-hmm. Because
I know it's a slam dunk. What if I tried something just for failure, or I hated it? You know, is that a loss? No. It's because it's getting outside of what your norm is. And I think even the question, if you're going to bring it to someone, pie feels kind of niche. Like you can ask them like, okay, if you were going to barbecue for 4th of July, how would you get all of your ingredients to barbecue? Like it doesn't have to be in that one. That's just the one class that my sister and mom took. But I found it very insightful regardless of whatever is something that's a common occurrence. What are the steps that you take to do that? And ask your friend the same thing too.
That's lovely, Haven.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, that's it. These are mini episodes. So I appreciate you jumping in and just following this fun little tangent of an exercise. Aaron, thank you for coming.
If this has inspired any of you to make a pie or a non-pie, tag us.
Tag us at Haven the Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe and share this podcast. So it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. But I'd love for you to just send it around to friends. It's a good conversation starter. Outside of that, I have a monthly newsletter. So you can sign up at havenpod.com to get that. Maybe you'll get that chocolate mousse recipe that I'm trying, or maybe Aaron's raspberry tart. I thought you were going for a high five.
Let's make both of them.
Let's make both of them.
Let's do it.
I like it. Okay. Maybe we'll show the finished products on that newsletter. But other than that, thank you for your time, and I'll see you on the next episode.